Chanteuse, noun, especially a woman who is concert or nightclub singer. That definition is for those who doesn't know what a chanteuse is. And now let's see how elusive of a chanteuse Mariah thinks she is. Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Also, I've started a Patreon account. On here you get more copyrighted material and they'll be uploaded 48 hours prior to YouTube. If you want to support or visit, link is in the description. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. This album starts off with the piano ballad known as Cry. I want you to take a wild guess on what this song's about. And if you guess, longing for your lover in the past even though you've clearly moved on, you will be partially correct. Only this time, she said we will just both break down and cry when we're back together. This ballad does remind me of some of her older ballads that was appreciated at first but grew stale over time. Kinda like this song. It's a harmless ballad, but it's one of those, if you heard them one, you heard them all. I said something like this on my previous review. This is the definition of a late period song. Produced by Mike Will Made It. This song is about a lover not being loyal to her, as Mariah believes that he's fading out of view. The outro points that out, and you know what's crazy? I kinda don't mind this one. The concept works and the production isn't bad. I'll take it. This song is all about nostalgia as it uses a Wu-Tang sample. She even referenced 36 Chambers in one of her verses. But there's a lot going on. There's a male background voice that I don't recognize, a conversation with JD, and a Nas verse where he mentions how Eric B should run for president, la-di-da-di, and closing his verse paying homage to the late Heavy D. This is another song that has an old school appeal to this that I wouldn't mind, but there are too many moving parts for me to get on board, and that's what holds it back for me. Our next feature act involves Miguel, 1 year removed from the WWE leg drop. Yes, I had to throw that in. Anyway, the song itself is pretty self-explanatory, but I feel like it's more of a Miguel song than a Mariah song. Mostly because he sings the first verse, has more lines overall in the song than Mariah. I don't feel like they have the greatest chemistry, as by the end it feels like they're battling each other. It's kind of a shame because this is a song that could have been great, but it only floats into the good territory. Hit Boy produced this song, and it's probably the first song on this album that turned me off. Mostly on production and Hit Boy's ad-libs. Vocally, I feel like, give this to Monica, she would have sounded much better on this than Mariah. And the content is about Mariah's partner using her for clout and little else as he's thirsty for attention. Sure, I get some of the frustrations, but I can't get over that because of the keyboard and the production. The content's decent enough, but I don't ever want to revisit this song again. I know Stevie Wonder wasn't credited on this song, but I want to acknowledge his presence as he played his signature harmonica in the production. The song is old school Mariah at her best. Vocally, she's in her carefree mode as she talks about her man with irresistible charm, and Mariah is baffled how he does it. The production at times can feel unbalanced, but this is Mariah going back to her roots. I could call this a fine enough song. Dark Child is here on production. A producer who I've had a spotty relationship with, but luckily he doesn't do much harm in this song as Mariah sings about how denial she is about the relationship ending. So no, it doesn't fit in the longing for your lover in the past even though he clearly moved on. But back in the content, Mariah feel like they were meant to be in the end. And Mariah doesn't want this relationship to end. Sure, Mariah comes off as possessive at times, but it's convincing and it leaves me with one of the album's best. Good song. The song has an infectious groove, but I feel like something's amiss. Production is a highlight, but I'm not crazy with the chorus. Also with Wale, sure he has decent cadence, but I'm not thrilled with his verses overall. And Mariah, at least she moved on from this past relationship and now is having fun. With this, there are elements of this working, but at the same time, there are things that don't. Overall, it's okay, but it could have been great. This song features her twins, as this song is about her love for her children is something to behold. And that's all you really need to know about this song. It's harmless, it's for her kids. I don't have a major issue with this one. And here's the fan favorite of the album. And I understand why. The song has a disco feel in this song, but I feel like Mariah's just going through the motions. Mariah decided just to use her head voice, not where I think her whisper register could have added more to what could have been a great song. So the song only ranges from decent to okay, but this could have been incredible. And I'm kind of disappointed in that. We have another piano ballad, and this one's aimed at Nick Cannon, her husband at the time. He was, and still, one of the hardest working men in the business, and Mariah feels like he doesn't have time for her, and she begged Nick to say, "I love you." It's heartfelt, and Mariah puts her pain in her vocals, and thus leading to a very interesting moment on this album. So yeah, this is another highlight on this album. Once again, Hit Boy produced this, and this time he brings Fabulous along for the ride. Ironically, it's just the second time he worked with Mariah. And there is so much going on here. On production, Hit Boy uses at least 3 samples, as the song's pretty much a flexing song, showing listeners what money can do for you. And I know flexing songs for me are usually hit or miss, but because this song had so much, perhaps too much going on, we have to move on. Looking at the title of this song, I feared that this was going to be another longing for your lover in the past even though you have moved on type song. This one has some context. It's originally a cover song, originally sung by George Michael, and he sings about the resistance of going back to a past love relationship, and Mariah just basically putting a female twist on it. The original and the cover is way too long. Both songs are about 6 minutes. I would say Mariah does perform fine here, but it was just too long for me. It happens. Final song on the album, and it's another cover song, this time from Mary Mary, and it serves as the gospel cut on the album. And I never opposed Mariah going gospel on any of her albums. Again, won't be talking about the content because it's a cover, but as is, I thought it was a proper album closer, and I'm glad Mariah hasn't forgotten her roots. And that concludes this album review. This album was easier to get through than the last two. Granted, Mariah is in her late period, so in the end, I know what to expect with this album. But there were some parts that were above average, and I'm going to give it the above average score of 7 out of 10, because there are things that I like for a late period Mariah Carey album. Next up is Caution, her most recent non-holiday album to date. And that concludes the Mariah, Me, I Am The Elusive Chanteuse album review. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. What is your favorite song from this album? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.